Centuries ago, the Malian Emperor Mansa Musa sent his best and brightest scholars, explorers, warriors, and artisans across the great Western Ocean to discover new lands. They succeeded in ways no one could imagine. Now, 3,000 years later, their descendants have made a home for themselves on a new planet, and the calls of adventure and discovery are stronger than ever. Join creative director Tanya DePass as Invicta, the High-and-Old Blade Keeper, DJ Knight as Ikemba, the Musalian Biopriest, Michael Sinclair II as Ilay, the Misajai Lightbringer, Christina Ariel as Sila 919, the Monsagene Biopriest, Abria Iyengar as Koseh, the High-and-Old Fixer, and Eugenio Vargas as the Storyteller, as they explore new planets, make new friends, and treat everyone they meet luxuriously. Welcome to the Motherlands.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Eugenio. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be your storyteller this evening for this, our pre-penultimate episode. We got to start counting down. It makes it more dramatic. We're all very happy to be here with you this evening. You will notice that our High-and-Old Blade Keeper is not with us this evening. Tanya is off doing incredible things that I'm sure she will tell you all about on Twitter at some point. But we are short her today, and we will miss her terribly. But there are still 4 incredible role players here to help me tell this story tonight. So let's go around. And there's only 4 of you. I can use a D4 to roll to see who introduces this week. All right, so let's meet our players. It rolled under my keyboard. It's going well. That is 1, 2, 3. That is Abria.
Hello, I'm Abria Iyengar, playing Koseh, your High-and-Old Fixer, and both she and my pronouns are she, her.
Fantastic. Next up is Christina.
Hello, my name is Christina Ariel, she, her, and I play Admiral Sila 919, your Monsagene Biopriest, weaponized hair wielding, dad joke telling, awkward laugh having Admiral.
Next up is Michael.
Yo, what up? It's Michael Sinclair II. I go by Michael Kurtz everywhere. I play Ilay, the Misajai Lightbringer. Their pronouns are they, them. My pronouns are he, him. Just super excited to play, and hopefully Ilay makes it out of whatever happened to them last.
Yeah, that was rough.
Only a little dead, I think.
Just a little unconscious. Death is the next step. Anyway, last but most certainly not least, speaking of back from presumed unconsciousness, Ikemba. Hey, DJ.
I was still muted. I try to not do that every week. I never do it. It always happens every now and then. Oh, hi, I'm DJ Knight. I play Ikemba, your Musalian biopriest who really likes cheese. And thank you for hanging with us. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Can I show something?
His pronouns are he, him.
Can I show something real quick?
Sure. I don't know what it is. Oh my God. Yes, it's the lunchbox.
I got a
lunchbox.
lunchbox from my very good friend Bill. So now I have a Gush Puppies lunchbox, and it makes me so happy.
Aww.
That is everything. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So those are your players this evening. We do have a bit of business as usual at the top of this evening's episode. And the beginning of that business is to say thank you to lots of folks. Thank you so much, first of all, to Die Hard Dice for supporting our endeavors into the Motherlands. As you undoubtedly know by now, they have created a set of Musalian Skies dice, beautiful blue dice, sky blue dice that you can get from them. But everything that they sell over there at dieharddice.com is excellent. You should check out their website, get you lots of click-clack math rocks. And when you do, be sure to use code Ikemba for the, we're just at the beginning. No, is it different? It's Ilay this month, isn't it?
Okay.
It's Ilay. I did not write it down, but I believe this month it is Ilay. I lied to you. Use code Ilay to get 10% off. That was a pun and I didn't mean it. So, so that. Next up, we want to thank Blue Microphones, of course, for providing us with equipment to sound nice and crisp and clear for all of you. You can check out everything that they have available at bluemic.com, USBs, XLRs, everything you could need. Check them out. Next up, a huge thank you to Cortex by Fandom. Our game here, our streamed game, is primed by Cortex, and we're very excited to get to explore and show off their system with all of you. If you aren't already, you should follow them on Twitter at Fandom Tabletop, because they're all the time talking about new releases and giving new art and character sheets and all kinds of stuff for all of the various settings and IPs that they have, including Tales of Xadia, the official Dragon Prince RPG, and the Legends of Grayskull Masters of the Universe RPG. So check them out at Fandom Tabletop on Twitter. Of course, we want to thank the folks at Twitch. Into the Motherlands premieres exclusively here on Twitch, and we are so grateful that they have brought us back for a second season. I don't need to tell you how to find the website because, well, you're here. Finally, we have a Kickstarter, and it's rocking on, y'all. I think we still have 10 days of this Kickstarter, and we are so close to $250,000.
Oh, we hit it.
Pledged. Oh, did we? Oh, I haven't checked in like
Did
the last
we?
10. Oh my God, we are $51 over. You are right. We have $250,051. My guess is that the new stretch goal has not been revealed yet because Tanya is elsewhere. And I can't tell you what it is because I don't remember. But I'm sure you will find out.
Okay, so the stretch goal that was just unlocked.
This is not real. This is not real.
A lunch.
It's not true.
Gushers. It's gushers.
Not. It isn't though.
We're doing themed gushers.
Yeah,
They
we're gonna get in so much
taste
trouble.
like
We're not.
Mutoa.
It's not true.
They're delicious.
Okay. I mean, I bet
Into
they
the
are.
Motherlands is not responsible for anything that comes out of Abria's mouth as regards to a
No
problem.
one, not even myself, is responsible with what comes out of my
Viewer
mouth.
discretion is advised.
That's right. That's right. At any rate, thank you all so much. Every time any of us check the total, it is incredible and overwhelming and exciting. And we are so excited to get to produce a really, really awesome setting book for you all. If you haven't pledged yet, but are still interested, like I said, you got about 10 days left. So go check that out on Kickstarter. I think that's all the announcements that I've got, which means that it's time for the recap. And we should definitely make DJ do it, right?
Yes, 1000%.
I missed half.
Well, we'll start doing the second half.
No. Yeah, right. Oh, you just have to do the second half. That's fine.
So-
No, who would like to start off our recap?
I can give a quick recap.
Okay, yeah, do it.
We started going up the mountain,
You did.
and then we found like it was like
Hey, this stuff was actually made so that people could do the things and they may still be here.
and then we were looking around, and then like a robot came up and was like,
Hello, humans. Blah, 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 blah.
it actually didn't say anything. I just know that the Ikemba saw it and was like, let's get flat. So he got flat. And in my assumption, he's just been like prone this whole time.
Yeah, he has. That's true. He has. We didn't talk about it because everyone was so busy interacting with this creature, but we will get back to Ikemba being prone that whole time. While Ikemba was prone, what else happened, y'all? You reached the top of this volcano. You reached the caldera plane inside of it. This machine came out of a drill hole, and then what happened?
So they were fighting, and they, being Koseh and Invicta, they were still fighting again. But then the big guy with the like 6 legs or maybe 8 comes in, and he goes and he rises up, and like the legs all mechanic out and get big, and he rises up and he looks like that thing in Toy Story when Sid put the baby on top of the claws, or at least in my brain it does. And Sally used 2 braids to be like whoosh, and try to take the legs out from under it, and then to take 2 other legs out from under it. It was not really that successful. It looked cooler in her head. And Koseh pulled out her legs. And then what happened, Koseh?
I would just like to clear the record and say that I was not fighting with Invicta. I was getting closer to get more data, and then she moved me out of the way for reasons known only to her. So
And everyone
That's
else who
not
was watching?
that's not on me. I ended up throwing Tiwi at it to try to hack into the machine because I could make it mine if people would just give me enough time. And I may have taken a lot of damage in the process, but it could still work. It could still work.
Absolutely. As I recall, Tiwi got caught by the creature and then did this really cool thing where it like broke apart into a bunch of tiny Tiwi pieces
Yeah,
that
there's a
then
bunch
sort of
of, like,
attach themselves.
polygonal shards of TV all over,
Cool.
which is upsetting, but I'm sure it's fine.
I'm sure it's fine. It's definitely designed. He's definitely designed to do that. Ilay, how did things go on your end?
You know, Ilay shares the same fate as I do as far as the roles go, obviously, because I
Well.
play them. So anyway, Ilay was trying to, as they normally do, set up like some sort of exfil plan or some sort of backup plan. They realized that they had to go do something, so we decided to maybe roll some boulders down at this creature that was threatening all our friends, and then that didn't end up working, so we end up tumbling down doing that once, and then the creature was trying to come and take a sample of Ilay, so they tried to counter maneuver, end up being a really good counter, but then, you know,
very
as
good
things
counter.
happen, they countered our counter, and
They
then
did.
now Ilay's out and possibly passed out. I don't know what our condition is, so I don't know what we're doing. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Did we all get sampled?
You and Invicta and Ilay
Mhm.
got sampled, yes.
Okay.
So actually the answer to your question was no, and yet I said yes. The
That's
three of
okay.
you got sampled. Yeah.
Interesting.
Anything else we want to bring up?
I
Nobody
something-
samples me unless I want them to sample me.
Mhm.
Well, you
So-
must not have wanted to get sampled then, because you didn't.
Kind of
Some-
a little bit wanted to get sampled.
I know you did. What were you gonna say, Ilay?
I was just gonna say something about thick data at some point.
Yep.
And
Like,
then,
at what point
I forgot about the
is
thick
information?
data. That's
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
That's right. That's right.
And then, yeah, I think that's like the one thing that we did miss, because we figured out what the borrowing thing is and the thing that came out.
Yeah.
A bunch of hacks tried to happen. We tried to subdue the robot, but it didn't end up working. And then, yeah, something thick data, and that's where we are now.
Amazing. I love it. That's where we are now. So we have Ilay laid out and unconscious, sort of closer to the edge of the caldera. Invicta and Koseh and Sila are all varying degrees of injured and sort of out closer to the center of the caldera. Ikemba is also with them, prone on the ground and unmoving, breathing, but otherwise unmoving. And of course, Shoga and Bertrand are off at the very edge of the caldera. And that's where we begin. And those of you who are able to look around and see what is happening, you can see that Ilay is down, and you watch as this machine begins to make its way towards the edge of the caldera where Bertrand and Shoga are standing. And it, just as it has been this whole time, it's awkward with its legs sort of tied up and mangled, but it is inexorably making its way slowly but surely over to your two companions that have joined you on this volcano summit. Is there anything I should know about Koseh or Sila? Invicta is laid out, and unfortunately, the brace that Koseh created for her has been working great, but it got a little bent when the machine came by, and so she's unable to really get up and move very easily right now. She's not mortally wounded, but because of the way that the machinery is bent, she really is going to have to be sort of helped around. So she's not going to be of any help in this moment.
Koseh is caught sort of between like two. She's not sure if she can pull off like breaking into this machine and stopping it, and is caught between trying to finish the hack or trying to like end the threat the only way she knows, or the only vector by which she knows how. So
Sure.
I think she just turns and kind of yells at both Scylla and Ikemba. Do we just destroy it?
Ikemba is unresponsive at this point.
I think she didn't realize that Ikemba was out.
Yeah, absolutely.
As well as Ilay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, beans.
An
Okay.
abundance of napping on our team at the moment.
Okay. Then my question becomes, oh dear game facilitator.
Yes.
I would like to do something sort of spicy with Tiwi.
Yeah, you got all kinds of, you have both of the options that you mentioned. Probably that taking control of it with Tiwi probably going to take longer than you have before it gets to your friends. But that isn't to say that you couldn't use Tiwi to try and at least shut it down mechanically. Or if you have a plan to try and destroy it, that's also an option. But controlling it probably is going to take too long.
Well, I would like to overclock all of the pieces of Tiwi in order to like just sort of EMP nuke the robot entirely.
Absolutely. Okay. This is a thing for Tiwi, and we should find out how this goes. So I think it's time to roll some dice because that went so well last week,
Oh God, don't
let's head over to that screen. All right. So, Koseh, this is definitely a contest. You are trying to EMP bomb this machine, and this machine would like to not be EMP bombed. So you are instigating the contest. You can roll first.
So can I spend a plot point to buff up Tiwi at all?
Sure, I think that's reasonable. Yeah. So Tiwi now is a 6.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you could absolutely spend one to bump that to an 8.
Perfect.
What is that? Oh, that's the overclocking. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want
definitely.
him to be more than just a little. So I'll just drop an 8 in there.
Yeah,
So,
that's fine.
Cool. My sweet boy. Okay. So fixer, because I think the only way you learn how to fix things is by breaking things constantly. So that for sure.
Sure.
So yep, I'm fixing a bad situation where my friends are in so much trouble. Machines, no, for sure. And this one's gotta be, this is a sense of duty. I need this as much as I would love to sit and try to like slowly hack this thing. I have an obligation to my crew to, all right. So that's it.
All right, here we go. Let's see what happens.
Please roll good. Okay.
All right, we got a 15 with a D8 effect die. I like it. I like what I'm seeing. So Tiwi just starts to sort of spin up. You all can, well, those of you who can consciously feel anything right now, just feel a sort of static in the air. The hairs, if you have any, wherever they may be on your body, sort of stand up. And this creature this machine feels that something is happening and begins to take the arms that had split up and had the needles in them. They sort of come together in these little 3-pronged pincers, and they're trying to very quickly pull off the little pieces of Tiwi. And let's see how it goes. Yours was a 15. I don't think I can beat that, even if I add dice, because I've only got the 1 plot point left from this fight. So Tiwi sends these pulses throughout the machine, and you see it does manage to pick off some of them. Some of them it crushes, some of them it throws farther away from it, but it begins to get jerkier as it tries to pull Tiwi off of it. And eventually it isn't shut down, but it is sort of stuck in a place. It's stuck, repetitive motion. What does this do? When you overclock Tiwi like this, what does this do, if anything, to Tiwi?
Oh, I am absolutely like breaking Tiwi. Like we're just turning everything up and blowing out like every part of it just to do as much damage as possible. And there's
Yeah.
no sense of like Tiwi's coming out of this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you see that, and you see that Tiwi has, in fact, I mean, it is feet. It is a single meter. I've been trying to use the metric system as best I can. It is about a meter from Shoga and Bertrand, who of course are sort of pressed up against the caldera wall, and it's stuck there. It's very, very close to them. It's actually so close that they could probably get out from behind it, but it's, they're very much pressed in there. And you all, I'm not sure whether you see it or feel it first, but as Tiwi is sort of zapping and popping and getting thrown about, you all feel it get hotter. And then you see a light, a flickering, glowing, reddish orange light come from the other side of the machine where Shoga and Bertrand are. And there is a rumble, and you watch as all of a sudden, inexplicably, the creature's legs, which are mangled and tied together, they suddenly are no longer standing on solid crust, solid plane, but their legs, and only their legs, are suddenly, instantaneously, in the blink of an eye, sinking into molten rock. And then you see the ground around the machine begin to crack. But again, only there. And the piece of caldera plane that this creature is standing on, just a single crack sort of surrounds the machine, and that piece of solid rock begins to rise on a perfectly contained pillar of fire and magma. And it rises up in the air, and as it does, you see another smaller piece of ground rising up similarly, and standing atop it, the red in his hair and his symbiote markings and his eyes is Shoga, rising on another pillar of or another piece of stone that is being held aloft by this pillar of magma. And with eyes that match the fire that is holding up the two pillars where Shoga and the machine stand, you hear this voice that comes from Shoga or from beneath you, from everywhere. And the voice says, "This one drank of your essence and knows you. Though it be destroyed, its corrupted song has already been sung to the stars. As it knows you, so too do they all know you. Beware, they come and they know."
Ooh.
What? What is that? What is that?
And as you sort of look around and ask what it is, you watch as Shoga, whose hand is aloft, palm up, almost as if he's holding the pillars up, he begins to close his fist, and the column of fire and molten rock that holds the machine up surges upwards to the sky, engulfing the machine. And you watch as the machine and the bits of Tiwi left on it drip and melt away to nothing. And as that happens, a few moments later, you see the magma underneath Shoga's earth moat also surge upwards and engulf him. But unlike the machine, he does not seem harmed by it. You can see him within this pillar of fire, and you see his hair and his symbiote marks continue to glow like the lava of this volcano, but his eyes clear. And he looks around and he sort of quirks a familiar smile at this point and just says, gnarly. And then the pillars vanish. The ground, the pieces of solid rock settle back into the plane. You can see the puddle of metal that is what remains of the machine, but Shoga is nowhere to be seen. Why don't we head back to the big screens now that we have completed that moment? I don't think we'll be rolling anytime soon again.
Yeesh.
So, Ilay's unconscious. Sila and Koseh are there, presumably seeing everything that's happened. Invicta also is able to see it all, but is unable to sort of get up and do anything about it.
Please tell me that Ikemba was there as well.
Ikemba, the moment that the pillar of flame surged and engulfed the machine, you regained consciousness and your control of yourself. And it is you, as far as you know, you just hit the ground to avoid whatever was happening. But you are conscious and aware, and if you take a moment to look around, you will very quickly realize that things are not as you left them.
Yeah, and nobody's at this spot. How long would it take me to get to the top of the mountain?
You were in the caldera with everyone.
Okay,
You're just
so
sort of on the other
area.
It's in the same area. You're just a little further away from everyone else.
So the second Ikemba gains consciousness, he just kind of rolls his eyes around to see where everybody is, and then he sees the group and just sprints.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
Sprints. It just gets there, just slightly winded. Just, I imagine I've missed much. This is not the area as it was when I went prone to avoid the robot. Where's the robot? Where's
The robot has been
Shoga?
destroyed.
Help Ilay.
I just laid down.
Go help Ilay. And I want to just, Koseh just starts kind of pushing Ikemba towards Ilay.
And the second he sees Ilay, he just runs over and
Sure.
just kneels and is just focusing to try to wake him up. Like, what happened? What is wrong with Ilay, so that I know how to help them?
Some of Ilay's injuries are pretty immediately obvious. As I recall, Ilay got smacked with the rebound of a boulder, so you can see, abrasions and bruising already started on one side of Ilay. You can also see where the machines sampled them, and there's a big old round bruise on Ilay's other arm, and you can see the puncture mark where something must have injected or something went into Ilay's other arm. And they are currently unconscious, and these injuries seem like plenty to have done that.
And Ikemba just like puts his hands out and closes his eyes and focuses and just tries to do what he can to wake up Ilay.
And I'm trying to remember, have you helped Ilay before? Have you healed Ilay before?
I don't think Ilay's ever been hurt.
Tough question, because I don't.
It's true.
Because I was like, I don't think so.
No, I didn't think so either. I didn't think so either. There is
a boss.
Well, right, and so this being your first experience, sort of, adjusting the code that is Ilay, have you ever, you were trained by Misajai originally, right, Ikemba?
Yes.
Yeah. So it may have been a while, but this is immediately sort of familiar to you. You can feel the two life forces that are one. It's not odd to you. But what is odd is that some of the Misajai that you trained under and worked with were, like Ilay, were light bringers, had the ability to channel the energies of light and dark. And so you know what to expect in terms of Ilay being Misajai, and you know what, or you think you know what to expect in terms of Ilay, in terms of them being Lightbringer. The Lightbringer.
I am incorrect.
Oh.
Ikemba was trained by the Solansi, if I remember correct.
Oh, by the Solansi. I'm sorry, not by the Misajai.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, okay. So the Misajai, that's okay.
I hate to have done it, but I wanted to
No,
make sure
I'm glad
that
you did.
This description was the right one.
If you didn't, somebody else would have, and I appreciate you doing it. So no, that's fine. So then it is odd what you feel, these two life forms, but they are so deeply enmeshed that in terms of helping, in terms of healing, it's basically the same, but it is certainly interesting to you the way that that these two are also one, and that you can treat them as one, but you also have a feeling that you could probably interact with them on a very, very basic level individually in some way, but not. It's all very strange. I will say that I do think some of the Solansi that you've come across are definitely Lightbringers. Many Solansi have some level of Lightbringer ability from the photosynthetic abilities that many Solansi have. And it is that you at least were expecting, but it feels dimmed from other Lightbringers that you have treated before. It's there. It's undeniable that Ilay knows and is capable of channeling that energy, but it feels somehow depleted. You can feel that it will reset itself, but in this moment, in addition to the physical injuries, they are somehow drained. But you can do enough to even without a roll, you can do enough to bring Ilay back to consciousness. The injury will still be at a D12, and that will require a little. You could work on it, but it will require a little bit more time and possibly some equipment. So if you want to do that now, that's fine. If we want to get out of the caldera first, that's also fine. It's entirely up to you.
I'm always down for rolls, but I wouldn't want to assume that Ilay would want Ikemba to do that.
Sure.
So
sure.
Ikemba would want to wake Ilay up first and then inquire as to whether or not that's what they wanted.
Ilay, if you got hit by a truck or the wistful wish, I guess, just slammed into you. But you are conscious. There are the odds that that nothing is broken, or at the very least fractured, is very low, and I think you would know that. But you know, critical injuries have been dealt with, and you are returning to a unpleasant but consciousness.
Okay. I'm gonna sit up. Does anyone have a knife or something?
That little hand and knife.
I'm gonna de-blouse and cut my blouse up so that I can make it into like a arm sling, since that arm is like all messed up and not probably fully healed, just the serious injuries. And if there's like a stick on the ground, I'm also going to use some of the blouse to kind of splint the section too, and just take time to do that as I'm sitting up. I'm not all the way up yet. I'm still trying to like let all the fluids and blood and everything like kind of circulate through my body, and so there's enough to my head so I don't get up and like collapse back down. Is everyone okay? Is everyone fine?
The question is, are you okay?
I think so. I feel a bit cold and sore. But as long as everyone's okay, yeah.
I was considering to attempt to heal you more, but I didn't want to take an opportunity to do so without your permission. If you like, I can attempt to help you more. But again, that is your choice.
Sure. Just be careful. I know from other bio priests I've spoken to, it sometimes messages are a bit tricky, so just be careful, I would ask.
I believe I worked with other Misajai before, but not. It's a very rare occasion for me. And they went with Salansi, so seems to be slightly different, but I am somewhat versed here.
Okay. I'm gonna actually get up slowly, and there was like a whole bunch of big rocks and boulders. I'm gonna stand up, but also like kind of put my body weight and rest myself on the back, like my back on one of the rocks, and kind of let Ikemba do what he like figure out how he's gonna help.
Yeah. As you
Ikemba
stand,
obviously helped them to the rock. Like there's no way he can just sit and watch.
No, I probably couldn't
to walk after freshly waking up. That's not how he rolls. Just to clarify, because somebody's gonna be out there like
DJ and Ikemba, just let him walk.
No, not how we roll.
I love it. Yeah, as you help him up, the two of you can sort of communicate. And Ilay, there's no doubt that there are at least a couple of fractured ribs, which you really feel as you sort of stand and expand a little. Your arm, which you've already splinted, is not in great shape. But you can sort of direct Ikemba to the worst of the injuries. Why don't so I think for this Ikemba, if you want to work on Ilay, that's great. We'll do a roll. I don't think we need to show the rolls for this one. I trust you, and I'm sure they do as well. And so I will roll that up for you, and you'll be able to, and I'll let you know what the difficulty is. In fact, I'll work on that right now. And then as you put your pool together and roll, I want to check in with Koseh and Sila. So let me just, okay, it's this and this, because you've got a D12 of that. Okay, so you're looking for your, whoa. I rolled very poorly. I got a 7, and I also rolled 2 opportunities for you.
Opportunities.
So,
I rolled a 10, and then my effect die was a 2.
Great. What kind of die is your effect die? A D what?
A D.
I can look here. Oh, it's a D10. That's very good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Duh, it's right there in my face.
That's okay. You have plot points available, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so you should have at least 1 since we're starting a new session. So if you would like, okay, so here's what I'll do. If you would like to buy one of my opportunities with a plot point, we can step that effect die up to a D12, and that'll be some major healing for
please and thank you.
Ilay. If you want to buy them both, then we can play out, and we'll do this after I check in with Koseh and Sila, but we can play out a little sort of surge, something that Ikemba has never experienced before, and we can actually clear Ilay's injury. Okay, great. So we're going to do that. Spend your plot points. We're going to buy those, and we will check in on that in a moment. But let me check with with Koseh and Sila 919. What's going on with you two?
Legally distinct Super Saiyan. That's not what's happening with you.
Sila, what is happening with you? As much I think Sila could say that. She's made reference to all kinds of strange things in her corruption.
I have all of the world's knowledge at the blink of an eye. I think about many, many things.
I love it.
I'm like the genie. It's like, why is the genie making these topical references from a time that doesn't exist, that doesn't even have this kind of technology? Because I
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Admiral Sila 919 is over, and she is trying to pick up Invicta to carry her down the hill. And she's strapping, because Invicta is still napping, she's like using her braids to wrap around and make kind of like a baby Bjorn to carry Invicta.
Oh no.
To make sure that she gets down safely.
I hate this.
I think so, but
it's very safe. It is very safe, and it is Sila is just trying to help her friend out of a tough situation.
Absolutely.
Just
Yeah, and the reality is Invicta ain't getting down this volcano on her own. So, I think in the end she'll have to agree to it in some shape or form. Koseh, how about you? How you doing?
I think Koseh has just like leaned down and picked up a scattered piece of TV that the like robot threw off and kind of just threw away, and has like picked that up. And if I see Sila like making a baby Bjorn for Invicta, I think she kind of just turns and is like, do you want some help with that?
I really want help from you.
What do you mean?
What was TV to you? Just a toy or something you made? Think because it's not humanoid that it's not good enough and you can just destroy it?
No.
Would you just let me blow up because I'm not like you?
No. I have known Tiwi orders of magnitude longer than I've known any of you. And it broke my heart to throw him away. But those people, and I point over at Bertrand and the other person whose name I've forgotten that was over there
Shoga,
too.
but he's not there anymore.
Oh yeah, it was Shoga. And so I just point at Bertrand. But you said they were important to you. And I always do what's best for the crew. And I think
don't want
she's
to feel
holding
disposable.
You're not. Not at all. You're the leader. Just because you are not flesh doesn't mean you're not important. I've committed my entire life to caring about technology more than I care about myself. And I think looking at her, I have a D12 in injured. She looks absolutely shit wrecked.
Yeah.
I've got other like
Yeah,
stress
she
too.
does. Yeah.
And she kind of like gestures vaguely at Invicta's boot. I care so much. And I'm very sorry if I can't show you in a way that makes you feel better. But I did my best and I did what I thought was right.
Sila reaches out and she grabs. May I touch your shoulder?
Koseh kind of flinches back. And I think as she like takes a back step, her leg buckles a little bit and the spider legs come out to like support like crutches and kind of close around her a little bit. And she doesn't allow it. No, thank you. No,
I
thank
respect
you.
that choice. I didn't mean to hurt you.
It's okay, you didn't.
I don't always have the best words to say how I feel because I don't know how to feel. You were the first person that I told that to.
You're really good.
And I
at
want to
feeling.
trust you. Thank you.
This is
You're really
hard.
good at healing friends. Can I use my biocrease to try and heal Koseh a little bit? I haven't used it before, so it's new.
Yeah. We'll do the same that we did with Ikemba here. Oh, but of course I rolled a little better. So we're gonna do that. So it's an 11 to beat, and you can put that together, and I will check in on that if Koseh will allow this much.
Yeah, I think
the feelings are real, but so is the pain.
Yeah, I think after a little bit of conversation, like
Yeah.
Koseh will sort of inch back closer.
Great. So roll that up and I will check in on how that goes. But let's go over to what Ikemba is doing. Now, Ikemba, you spent those 2 plot points and I'm going to let you take the reins here. But this is to give you an idea of mechanically what's going to happen is this is sort of a surge of power on a level and a scale which you have not used before, because when you are done, Ilay's injured stress will be completely cleared.
Man, I don't even know how to properly describe that.
Okay, we could do
so
together.
I'm gonna leave that. Like, I want to give that to you. You are such a better descriptor of these things than I am. All I got is like, oh, his hands glue. They had an orange glow about them, and they just felt nice, and that was about it. And then you just describing what would happen is orders of magnitude better than I could do. So I'm wanting to sit back and listen to hear you describe this, please and thank you.
Well, thank you. All right. So well, exactly that. So you have your hand, as always, every time. And now the crew you've done this several times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your hands begin to glow and it's sort of a first pass to sort of assess. And then you can sort of dive into addressing the bits of, well, to you, the bits of code, the bits of logic that are broken. And you sort of lose yourself in it because there is so much to fix, to correct. And so your eyes close and you begin to work and you feel that other presence, that second presence that's there within Ilay. And you're not sure how you know, but you know that this is specifically the symbiote that you are feeling. And it is also trying to heal the body that it is taken up residence in, that it has become a part of. And so you're actually able to work together with it, and it gives you energy and power. And that in itself is a rush for you. That's a new experience. But then something else happens. There is a heat and a warmth and a power, almost uncontrollable, but you're able to sort of focus it, that feels like nothing you've ever experienced. If any of the rest of you, Ilay, you can see that Ikemba's usually orange and gold light has threads of what can only be described as flame. And you watch as he works on parts of you, you can see and feel this fire knitting and healing and repairing. And your symbiote marks are purple.
Mm-hmm. Like lavender purple, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they take on a sort of brighter, more reddish purple. They don't change. They don't look like Shoga's, but they intensify as the power of your symbiote and the power of whatever that thing was that destroyed the machine and that spoke to you is channeled through Ikemba and into you, Ilay. And it's exhausting. I mean, it's better than the pain, but it is exhausting. And by the time Ikemba, exhausting for both of you, and by the time Ikemba's eyes sort of open back up and the fire recedes first, and then the orange and the gold recede, you feel whole, if tired. And Ikemba, you feel exhausted, but you also feel this connection. You are more aware of everything around you. You are more aware of Ilay, which is not unusual when you heal people, that you have a sort of awareness of them for a time. But this is deeper. This is different. This is bigger. You are aware of Ilay in a way that sort of defies description. But you're also aware of this volcano. You are aware of whatever it is inside of it. It is this ancient, timeless sentience that barely registers the passing days. And it too is exhausted because it has acted in a way that is incredibly fast for it. It has done things on a time scale that it never approaches. And you know that it is there, and you know that it is resting, and you know that it is there to protect this place. And that it is grateful to all of you in its timeless way. And finally, the orange and the gold completely fade from your hands. And I'll pass it back.
Just want to take a second because
Thank you.
I'm very glad that I decided to shut my mouth because
Thank you.
that has been like the glow is a little more powerful. Like that was exemplary. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I now understand my own character better than I did before. I am honored to have heard that. Thank you much.
Thank you.
And the second that fade goes away, Ikemba just looks Ilay directly in the eyes and just, I can't tell you how. And I don't understand why. But I understand so much more about your experience. Which I'm sure is nothing in the grander scheme of things, but thank you for allowing me to help. And then just the camera just like kind of pauses for a second, just blown by the whole situation.
Thank you, and thanks for being brave enough to help. I know it can be quite disorienting. I know it was when I experienced this life again, and it's, if you're patient though, it's quite it can be quite beautiful and reassuring, but a little bit scary at first. And I'd like to kind of think, just pulling from like a weird movie reference, but it's like the opposite but good version. If anyone ever watched Annihilation, like that movie messed me up.
Love
But,
it.
like if it could be the positive version of that,
Yeah,
like I feel like
Sure.
Ikemba probably experienced like a small portion of that. And so if you need to talk about anything, or I guess figure out what you experienced, then just let me know. But I appreciate your help and be glad to just get off this this mountain.
Two things in regards to that, actually. I would love to talk at some point, of course. That goes without saying. But the other part of you assisted me. It was already trying to heal you. It felt me trying to do the same. And it allowed me to do more of what I've had the skill to do for as long as I can remember, but I've never felt that. It was never that powerful. And just, we have much to discuss at another time, because that was interesting, to say the least.
Of course.
But also, and then he stands up and he just, is the rest of the team within like loud speaking distance?
I think so. But before you call to them, I want to, because this was happening sort of simultaneously, I want to check in with the healing going on with Sila and Koseh. So we'll pause you two there. We'll zip back a little bit in time and check this out. Now, Sila 919, we haven't seen you access the biological code and do a healing like this before, have we? No, we have not. So what is it like for Silent 919? Because I imagine biopriesting for a Mansagane is very different than it is for anyone else.
Are you muted?
I think you're muted.
Emotional. No, I'm just kidding. The way that Sila processes her healing code, it's the musical code. So
yeah, it is.
She like everything kind of hums through her. She scans and she tries to figure out exactly what's going on. If Koseh will allow, given the latest interaction. We don't have to like each other for me to make you feel better, but I do like you and I want us to like each other and I want us to get better. And I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings.
You a lot.
I do more than most people.
No.
So
yeah, the music plays, hums through you and into Koseh.
It does. So I am monocle down, using it to actually scan and see if I can figure out what's wrong. I did make a dice pool.
Good. Yep, Biopriest Fix and Knowledge. Love it. Roll that up. 11's your target. All right. No problem at all. Yeah, so the song hums through you and
Whoa. No.
Oh no.
No, DM. No, that's not the way it goes.
Huh?
That's not the way it goes.
Oh, well, tell me how it goes.
Well, Sila, once again, scans, pulls her hairs out. And she is humming over. And she is going to figure out what she needs to do. And she's going to start repairing with her other hair. She's going to start working on Koseh's legs to make sure that they are in tip-top shape, the way that Koseh always makes sure everyone else is in tip-top shape, or foot shape because of Invicta.
Yeah. And it's beautiful in its power and in the song, and if anyone were to look casually, it would just seem that Silent 919 is repairing, is suturing, but there is more, and you can feel that there is more, Koseh, in that song that is helping things along.
And just to like add on to that, I think Koseh at this point, especially when she sort of relaxes and allows Sila to help her, she was starting to fold in on herself, like her legs had sort of pulled up and she was in this like fetal position, standing wrapped around that little bit of tiwi in her hand. But as she's being healed, she like returns her legs to the ground and is able to kind of stand under her own power. And I think in like one little like break in Sila's song, you just hear really quietly that she says, "You're like me. Thank you."
And the song continues, and as Sila works, Koseh, the music, in addition to helping your healing, it also just reminds you, it's not, it's nothing quite so cliche or trite as, Sila 919 sings a lullaby from your childhood, right? But there has been music in your life, and it's been a while, I think, since Koseh was able to sort of relax is not the right word, but do something other than her work. And maybe not entirely voluntarily, you relax and you remember. And we're going to take a brief break. And when we come back, we'll find out what Koseh remembers. Thank you all so much for being here with us this evening. We're going to take a brief break, and you all should as well. Get up, stretch your legs, get some water, whatever you need. Take care of yourselves. We'll be back shortly. We'll have a little flashback with Koseh, and then we will see what the crew is going to do next. Thanks so much, y'all. We'll be back soon. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you all so much for hanging out during that break. Congratulations to, I believe it was Haley Drescher that won the dice I saw. I happened to look at chat. I don't always do that during these shows, but I did just now. So congrats there. And also a quick update. It does seem that the $250,000 stretch goal has been updated on the Kickstarter because our team is amazing. So the stretch goal, the $250,000 stretch goal, is a Into the Motherlands mini comic written by B. Dave Walters that we will be adding. So that's all very exciting. Thank you all for your support. That's amazing that we get to do that. I'm very excited about it. Before we left for break, Sila 919 was healing Koseh, and they had a lovely moment. And then Koseh sort of began to think about everything that had happened, about Tiwi and the loss of Tiwi, and what Sila and the rest of the crew are to you. And so as you feel the song working on you, Koseh, where does your mind go?
I think even as she is like sort of grateful and blissfully having herself physically healed, she's still like holding on to that piece of Tiwi shrapnel so much that she's like recutting the inside of her own hand. And I think that like sort of sends her back, and everything that Admiral Sila 919 was saying takes her back to when she actually made Tiwi when she was a kid.
All right. So we see little Koseh. How old is little Koseh when she made her first Tiwi? She made Tiwi.
Yeah, he's had so many versions.
Right.
She started working on him when she was 7, but didn't finish a workable like version until she was 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. If there was any doubt what Koseh was going to end up doing. Okay, so we find ourselves then back in Hallins, the Hyanol founded city, a major city of the Hyanol, where you live, where you grew up. Your parents, I believe, worked at the archive there in Primat Bay, one of the premier archives of the Hyanol culture. And so what, you're finishing up Tiwi, and tell us what's happening.
So yeah, she's at home. She's it's not that she's been keeping this a secret, and she's probably not very good at secrets because she kind of bursts out with enthusiasm all the time, but she was supposed to be working on a science fair project that was really simple, like that, like potato light bulb level nothing. And she kind of looks over contemptuously at that like big triptych poster board that we all used to deal with as kids, with like some really she doesn't even care about it. Like there's just some nonsense written on it, and she's like finishing up like just I know what, we're not going to worry about where she got like soldering tools, but
no,
she is finishing she's finishing soldering down some stuff and like constantly like blowing it like, please don't let the fire alarm know. okay and it's kind of finishing.
Yeah, there's definitely been like if this fire alarm goes off one more time, Koseh, we're going to take away your soldering iron that we never should have given you in the first place.
That does feel like more of a you problem than a me problem, but okay.
Sure does.
She like goes and runs and like opens up the window and is like waving out a little bit of smoke.
Exactly. I love it. And so you're soldering, you're getting things there, you're blowing it out, and suddenly you realize that you're done. You hope, you think. I mean, you've done what you set out to do, so now the only thing left is to see if it worked.
Oh God, what if it doesn't work? What if I'm very bad at this? She runs and leans out the window, and I think Navatu like lives just like next door.
Exactly who I was about to bring into the scene.
She just screams out the window.
Yeah.
Hey, are you home?
And Navatu is home, but I think you also know that it's getting close to dinner time, and Navatu's dads, feel very strongly about dinner time, and so he may or may not be able to. But he does call back. He sticks his head out of a window, and you've been to his house a million times. He's in the kitchen. This is the kitchen window that you're seeing him from. But he pokes his head out and sort of, shh, what?
Don't yell at me.
I'm not yelling. I don't want you to yell.
Okay. I mean, they're used to me yelling. This is not new. Hold on, look. And I hold up, like, it's probably like 4 times the size of like what TV normally looks like. It's just real rough, exposed wires. There's no like outer shell. It's just a big, if Tiwi is like a stoat, I am holding up like a wiener dog of wires out the window. Sure. And Navatu, I think, Navatu was an engineer for a time, but ended up, as we know, eventually becomes a pilot. And that was for a lot of reasons. But one of them, I think, has to, just logically, is that you were better at it. And you always were. And if the two of you were going to stay together, ultimately, he needed to find something else. And so he looks at it and he's suitably impressed. I have no doubt that he knows all about what you are trying to create, but he doesn't quite have the facility with it, particularly at 10, to really understand it. So his eyes get big and did you finish it? Does it work? Is that done? I don't know. I'm afraid to turn it on.
Okay, well, it's gonna work.
There's no way you could know that.
Yes, I do. Of course it's going to work. Did anyone help you on it?
No.
So you did it all yourself?
Yeah.
Then of course it's going to work.
Really think so?
He sort of thinks for a minute. And after a few moments, you realize, or I don't know, maybe you don't, that he's doing it just to sort of put you a little bit on edge. And then he smiles, his gigantic grin, his gigantic high-angle grin, and just says, yeah, I do.
Okay, wait there. And I like disappear from the window, and I'm gonna like sit down on the floor with it on my lap and attempt to turn it on.
Yeah. And you turn it on, and all of the basic stuff starts up. You can see power gets to all of the places. If there are any sort of readouts or displays or just lights or whatever, those all come on. So step 1, good, power is there. The next thing, though, of course, is to give it its first command.
Okay. And I just yell, like not poking my head out the window. So this is a yell that may get to Navatu, like next door, but is definitely filling the house.
Sure.
Okay, it didn't blow up. No one should feel concerned about that. And I put it down in front of me as it's standing there, and I just go, sit.
And this... what did you call it? Wiener dog.
Yeah,
of a Tiwi. Those little Dotson of a Tiwi sort of shudders, and actually at first it tries to sort of, you see it is taking your command. It begins and then it just sort of falls over backwards.
Yep.
And lands on its back.
I think she does the lean where she's like leaning with it, like if I lean, we'll do it together. Kind of falls over with it. Okay, I love that. That's pretty good. You didn't blow up.
And the Tiwi, I don't know why I'm calling it anything but his name, Tiwi, you see it sort of wiggle back and forth, and it does manage, you've put little stabilizers on it on the back. So he does manage to sort of flip himself back over and get back on his feet and sort of begins to move in your direction.
Sweet. As it starts walking, I think that's when the like little whine, there's something in like a motor that just starts like this very high pitched whine. And before it can be like heard, you just kind of see you see Koseh's ears like flatten a little bit, trying to ignore it before it gets really bad. And then she just kind of reaches and jams like a little screwdriver in to like turn off one of the legs because that was a nightmare. But she's extremely pleased and like kind of scoops it up and leans back out the window. Navato! It works! It makes a terrible sound!
And so Navatu, who had left the window, comes back to it and sort of looks really excited and sort of gives you the thumbs up. And then you see one of Navatu's dads sort of come to the window and tap him on the shoulder and sort of say something to him very quietly. But then he also sees you in your window, Koseh, and sees Tiwi and sort of looks a little startled at first.
I flag him down and I'm like hanging out the window, like old school Michael Jackson style, with this sweet bean. And I just go, how? It makes it sound like Tiwi! How do I make it stop?
And as you ask that, the leg that you adjusted falls off and falls out the window and onto the ground. And we're gonna sort of fade from this moment. And I would love, if it's cool with you, to jump forward just a little bit, maybe a week. And you've taken time to make some adjustments, make some repairs, make some improvements, and now you are confident with it, right? There's still bugs, there's still improvements. It's Koseh, there will always be improvements, right? But you feel really good about Tiwi. Navatu has gotten a chance to play with the two of you, and it's great. And so you maybe want to show Tiwi off now a little bit. And so it's a school morning, and you're getting ready to leave for school. And your parents are there and they're getting you all ready. And it's Vitoan show and tell, sci-fi show and tell today at school. And I would assume that Koseh has something very specific in mind.
Koseh is not a careful girl. So I think the back half of Tiwi is just hanging out of her backpack. And she's just kind of like trying to cram it in while arguing with her mom. She's like, it's fine. This is fine. Everyone's going to love it. And it's not going to blow up. It doesn't blow up. And it doesn't make the sound anymore. You should let me I'm going to take it. It's going to be great.
And your dad is all aboard. He is always your dad's specialty at the Archive of Primatpe is more in the sort of humanities, you might say. He's more of a history buff and a sort of sociological scholar than a mechanical engineer. Your mother is more in the sciences, although she's more of a physicist than an engineer. But at least you two have some shared language. So your dad's all aboard. He's like, look at this cool ass thing my daughter did. Show everyone. And your mom is, of course, is worried that something will go wrong. She trusts you implicitly, but also knows that you blow things up on a not irregular schedule. So she's nervous, and she just says, Koseh, don't you think maybe a few more weeks of diagnostics and upgrades?
Look, okay. I get where you're coming from. Hold on, Dad, sip. And she runs, she drops the backpack, runs across and takes a big sip of a breakfast smoothie that I think he has to constantly hound her to drink so she doesn't forget to
eat. Absolutely. And you take one and he goes, how about another?
Okay. He runs back over. So, but here's the thing, I'm going to work on, Tiwi is going to be forever because I don't have to worry. It's not going to be like the bunny that died. And then you were very sad and I was very sad, but Tiwi's forever. So why not now? I did a really good job.
your mother is obviously, and I think this one I do think even you pick up on, Koseh. Your mother is prevaricating. She's nervous about this, and there's something else that she is not saying. She is concerned, of course, about Tiwi blowing up in the classroom, but there's something else, because also you know that she is proud of you. You know that she understands what you do. You know that she has checked Tiwi over, and so if she's checked it over and hasn't said this is going to explode, it is odd to you that she is still this concerned. And she just says, Koseh, sweetie, what if, I don't know if your classmates are really ready for Tiwi.
What do you mean?
Well,
I don't understand.
Navato gets you, and he understands your projects and your creations and your experiments, but I don't, not everyone in your class is as advanced as you in terms of your engineering and your incredible talents, and I don't know if they're going to appreciate it. I don't know if they're ready to understand how amazing Tiwi is. And she sort of stops, and
Koseh pats her condescendingly on the leg. Look, I know that I'm a little weird for my age.
Your mother
okay.
immediately looks like very chagrined.
Oh, no, it's fine. I don't like playing games. I like making stuff. And I'm good at it. It's okay, because this is something that everyone will like, and that's kind of why I made it too. Because the other stuff, I have a notebook of other stuff I want to make that I don't think the other kids will get as much. But Tiwi is for everyone. It's for me and for everyone. So I made him really friendly, and I think that'll go a long way. We could try.
Your mom just sort of sighs, and she looks over to your dad and she says, Lyra, please. And your dad says, Koseh, sip, sip.
I'm not okay. Go over.
And while you're sipping sort of over your head, but if you think maybe you would notice, that's fine. Your dad looks at your mom and just shakes his head and sort of mouths, she's amazing. And so she relents, and you take Tiwi to school and you do show and tell. And I want to know how it goes.
I think this is towards the end of the time where Koseh will put her light under a lamp.
Sure.
And she says, I got a lot of help. And then looks at Navatu and shakes her head a little bit. But this is something that I've been working on, but I didn't make it all by myself. But it's toy. It's a pet. And anyone can make him sit. Go.
I think you used all the right words. I think in this instance, Koseh knows her classmates, and whatever else might be the case, pet, toy, hello. Yeah. And so there is a chorus of sits. Does Tiwi sit?
I think Tiwi gets a little overwhelmed. I'm like, hold on. Like, you have to go one at a time.
Yeah.
But he'll do it, and he can grab stuff too. It's hard for him to see, but he can like throw erasers. Just one.
Yeah, just a horde of erasers. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so how does Koseh? So this all goes. The erasers fly, and a great sort of little fade out moment. So, how's Koseh feeling about how Tiwi's debut went?
She is incredibly proud of Tiwi and is happy to sort of be the center of attention. with her classmates.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's all of that is with that little bit of like anxiety and disappointment that she had to lie.
Sure. Yeah, and I think everyone sort of assumes that Navatu is the one that helped you, and your parents probably, although, or maybe Navatu's parents.
I think it's more Navatu's parents.
Yeah, and Navatu doesn't like that, but he agrees to keep quiet if that's what you want from him. And you continue to make improvements with Tiwi. I get the feeling that Tiwi accompanies you most places after this.
Yep.
Is that true? Yeah.
I think, by the time she gets to college, at least, like, Tiwi is in a pretty recognizable, like, physical form.
Yeah.
But isn't as, like, interfaceable. Like, it was in college where she figured out, like, oh, we can put, like, little communication chips in so we don't have to talk anymore.
Right.
And I'll install them on myself, and that's gonna go badly. But
that's a flashback for another time. Yeah, absolutely. And the only other thing I want to ask is, you know, as Koseh gets through grade school and goes to university, and Tiwi's always there, and we know Navatu is always there until you get the call, because that's what we saw last time. But what is Tiwi to Koseh? I mean, does Koseh have a lot of other friends? Is Tiwi one of the gang? Or is it Tiwi and Navatu and Koseh most of the time? Or is it something else? What is Tiwi's place in your life throughout these years?
I think because, like, generally speaking, Hynel culture, like, values, like, intelligence and social intelligence. Like, Koseh has learned to get along, and she's not like an outcast for her intellect.
No.
It was just hard as a little kid because she, like, didn't know how to not be weird about her abilities.
Totally.
So there's sort of that, like, in the, like, cinematic version of it, the montage is that it's always like her and Tiwi and Navatu, and that sort of like ebb and flow of other people, like friends in middle school, friends in high school, friends in college, and then after Torch calls, Navatu's gone too, and it's just her and Tiwi.
Yeah, I love that. I see very clearly the way you describe this, the three of you with that sort of time lapse around you, but it's not the stars, it's the people in your, it's not the stars, it's the people. And like you said, ever changing, because that's what life is. But that is your anchor. Even your parents and Navatu's parents, they're always there. You know, they move much more slowly in this time lapse, but you know, the kids leave the house, you go to school, you have different interests than your parents. And so it really is the three of you and then the two of you. And I think it's time to go back and join the rest of the crew, because now is the moment where I think Koseh is gonna either feel like it's just the one of you, or like maybe it's the five of you. So let's get back to the group. So Silent 919 finishes up her work on you, Koseh, and you can drop that injured stress down to a D8.
Nice. A manageable number.
And I think this is now that moment. So you have just said what you said before break, which was, we are the same, I believe is what you said.
Yeah.
And so Ikemba, this is that moment where now your timeline catches up and everyone is together. And so you can call out and we continue on.
And Ikemba just looks at everybody and just, when I was healing Ilay just now, I understood a thing. And it's like, he started walking, like, and just look back at Ilay, like, can you walk?
Yes, I think so.
Perfect. So he starts walking back to the group and just like keeping a tentative eye back to see if Ilay needs help just in case. But once he sees that Ilay's as far as he knows, Ilay's keeping up. Is that the case?
I believe so.
Cool.
Yeah. It's, I mean, if there's any unsteadiness, it's purely because your mind is telling you something should be wrong, but your body is fine. Ilay.
Didn't want to take chances.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's worth like pointing out that there is definitely a disconnect between what your body is experiencing and what your mind like absolutely knows it should be feeling.
Mhm.
So as we get back to the other group and just like everybody's back in the same place again, Ikemba just starts relaying the information that he got.
Mm-hmm.
And just while I was healing Ilay, I saw something that I didn't understand immediately. First is the other part of himself or themselves helped me in the healing. That's never happened before that I've seen. And also, mountain that we're on top of, it's sentient. And from what I gathered, it typically moves at a pace so beyond ours that days for us are mere seconds for it, or something similar. So it appreciates our efforts, and it's also resting. So this is not a standard volcano or mountain at all. It is alive. It senses us. And it's glad that we helped. Having said that, I love the idea of it, but once I got that understanding, I feel like I'm trespassing. I'm on its back, unrequested, as it were, if it makes sense at all.
Because starts kind of picking up her feet delicately. I'm sorry.
And you all do remember, as Ikemba tells you this, you remember that Shoga told you that there were legends about a creature here. But Shoga, well, at least as far as he said at the time, he didn't really know what they were, other than that, the reason that the path up existed is because there used to be a creature here that sort of not ruled over, but cared for this land. And that's sort of all he knew. But this seems to match up with that from what you all remember.
Should we go?
Yeah, we should.
I agree.
I think so.
And Bertram agrees as well. And you all can make your way back down the volcano. There is on the way down, you can see where obstacles have been removed. The cavern that had the scalders in it, there's a new tunnel through that area that is still, the ground is cool enough to walk on, but you can still see that the walls and the ceiling are warm and glowing as if it was just shaped by the magma inside the volcano. The pool of boiling water has completely evaporated, so you're able to walk across the dry bottom. The rock slide at the very bottom of the trail has just been melted down to nothing, so the path is clear. And your return down is much easier than your ascent was. While you're headed down, Bertrand sort of checks in with all of you, particularly those of you who either have or had, I guess in Ilay's case, serious injuries. Make sure that you're okay. And as you're sort of getting down to the very bottom, Bertrand goes over to you, Ikemba, and is about to check in on you, because though you are uninjured, you were out for most of what happened up there. And Bertrand sort of stops and cocks his head a little bit as he looks at you. Has that always been there? And he sort of points to right behind your right ear, Ikemba. And as you do, you feel something. There is a little disc, cool metal feeling disc right behind your ear.
No. That has not always been there.
Did you put it there?
Not at all.
Oh. That's cool. Bertrand is unsure. You don't seem super you're it's Ikemba, right? So Ikemba's never gonna, have a panic attack about it. But Bertrand doesn't know whether he should be freaked out about this or not.
And again, was just internally just trying to figure out how it got there. He would have never put a disc behind his ear for no reason. So he's thinking and trying to figure out why it's there without kind of alerting anybody. He's a firm believer and understand what you're dealing with before you tell other people, so as to not get people bent out of shape. So he's thinking, and he just looks at Bertrand and says, I'm going to do some more looking into this evening. This is not normal. Thank you for pointing it out. I'm very surprised I didn't feel it.
You're welcome. If I can be of any assistance, I don't know much about biology, but if I can help, great.
Bertrand, you're already helping. Thank you.
Oh, I have missed all of you.
We've missed you as well. And Ikemba just quietly, just trying to gauge this thing and just figure it out. So he's slowly just taking two fingers and just putting it on it and just trying to test it to see what he needs to do to figure out what's in it and what it's doing.
Sure, yeah. So it's about the size of a nickel or so in circumference. It's oddly cool against your skin, and it's not raised. There isn't really a seam between your skin and the edge of this disc, at least not that you can feel. And if you were to sort of probe at it with a little bit of biopre stability, it's almost like there isn't anything there. Not just that the disc isn't there, but there is a sort of strange empty place in your sense, in your sort of self sense, if you are to reach out with your biopre stabilities.
And once he sees that, he looks at Bertrand and just, considering that I've been testing this since you brought it to me, I can't feel it with my abilities.
Oh.
So whoever placed it there did so with a purpose and knew that I might try to inquire as to what it was. I do not like this.
Oh, well, then neither do I. Should we, do you think perhaps the others can help, or is this an Ikemba thing?
I'd rather bring it to the group, because if it can happen to me, who knows if it's happened to us all.
Yes.
So he walks back with Bertrand to the group and just, I'm not sure how to even say this. When I awoke, Bertrand saw me and asked if this had always been there. He just kind of touches the ring.
What does
This
it
has
look like?
not. He just kind of leans into Koseh so she can see it, just right behind the ear. and just
you all immediately can see. Bertrand wouldn't have clocked this, and obviously Ikemba can't see it, but the rest of you, as soon as you see it, it's unmistakably the same odd metal that the ship and the machine were made from.
There's one obvious solution or answer to this.
what's
Set
that?
it off.
He's turning into a ship.
I don't think that's a solution. Feels like a different problem. Do you feel like a ship?
I do not. I can't fly. I would prefer none of you attempt to.
You want to try?
To what, Ikemba?
And he just looks and just don't get any ideas. So,
I have so many ideas. I keep in my notebook.
and with that, I'm concerned.
Yeah, it would be.
And immediately he's just, this was not there before. I request when we get back to our quarters, we all do a thorough scan of ourselves. Yes, I was out, and that possibility exists that while I was down, it implanted itself there. But I'm not sure now if it hasn't been there longer. And if that is a possibility, then we all may have something there that isn't supposed to be. And before you ask, whoever put it there knew that I was a biopriest, because when I tested with my ability, it seems as if nothing is there. So this is not normal. This is not natural. Someone or something placed it there, and I do not like it. Please check yourselves as well, because the more information we have about it, the better. And he just like visibly, just like all of his muscles are tense. He is pissed, but he is doing everything in his power to not show it. And I feel like in his trying not to show it, the team already knows
Sure.
that he is pissed.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
I think, go ahead.
Please.
I think sort of seeing that Koseh react, like instinctively drops that last little bit of tiwi that was in her hand to grab Ikemba's hand to like give a reassuring squeeze.
Aw.
And doesn't even realize that she dropped it.
I think there's our 1 or 5 answer.
And Ikemba just, thank you. But also is that tiwi?
Tiwi can be fixed.
What have I missed?
I exploded Tiwi.
Oh, that's not good.
All right, you
For the
missed it too,
greater
I forgot.
And then immediately
It was not
like,
murder.
Ikemba puts his other hand on top of her hand and just, are you all right?
I'm okay.
I'll pick up Tiwi from the ground.
Or the piece of Tiwi, anyway.
Can Tiwi be remade?
Tiwi. Yeah, I can rebuild him. I've built him a bunch of times.
I'm sure it is not the same. It will not be the same Tiwi. It can't be the same Tiwi, but I can see in your face your pain. And I am sorry for your loss. Like Ikemba was I feel like the closest person in the party to Tiwi, and just seeing how useful Tiwi was.
Sure.
He already knew, holy crap, like Tiwi's gone. Excuse me?
Sure.
Excuse me. Like
Sure.
He is hurt right now.
Yeah.
The Admiral is slightly confused by terminology that was just used. And she goes over to Koseh's face and goes, "May I?" And she turns around to Ikemba and goes, "Where do you see pain on her face?
Oh.
I see nothing written here."
And that Admiral is something else you will come to learn.
So you weren't being literal.
It is not a literal pain. From my perspective, looking upon Koseh's face, emotionally, at least from my perception, she's very saddened by the loss of Tiwi. So, I feel like this is another thing that, if at all possible, I would love to assist you with your studies.
I have notes for an improvement I would like to add. Thank you.
Sila, I think the same thing is true for you, just in a different way that is true for Ikemba, which is to say that now that you have had a look at Koseh's code, as it were, there will be a period of time where you have a connection to her. And I think as you go over, you do the check, you don't see pain written on Koseh anywhere. And as you have this conversation with Ikemba and you understand, you are told, and you sort of take in that it's not literal, I think maybe unbidden, that view of Koseh's code, her music, I think is maybe more the way that you see it. You do see a little discordant passage. And I don't, it's up to you. I don't know that you would know in this moment even how to verbalize what it is that you are seeing. But you understand that maybe this is what Ikemba meant.
I don't like that feeling for you.
It's okay. It's not forever. I know I was assigned to you very recently, to all of you. If you would have me, I would like to stay. I like you all very much.
I like you too.
And I think this is a good place for us to finish up today. I think with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you at the bottom of the volcano. There's no sign of what happened up top. There isn't a plume of ash flowing from the, exploding outward from the top of the volcano. There isn't a big glowing lava flow coming down the side. There's nothing from down here that gives any hint to what happened up there. But you all know, and you all know a little bit of Koseh's pain because Silas sang it to all of you. And you know a little about Ilay's injuries and the incredible, unbelievable healing that Ikemba managed. And you know that there's more because the volcano told you. You stopped whatever that was, but it had its own song that it was singing to something out in the stars. And before it managed to destroy that thing, that song got out. And so we'll just have to see. Yeah. What's up?
Sorry.
No, it's
Sal's
okay.
just gonna look at everyone really quick and say, are we not gonna discuss the fact that our friend turned out to be a fire volcano god, or is that just never mind?
No, I honestly thought that he was that before and I just didn't notice.
I knew it the whole time. I'm just reassured. I'm just gonna say it.
Yes, I love that.
Koseh
Shoga was a
absolutely
volcano
believes
god.
you.
That's why I
And
brought
then-
him. It was Misajai to Misajai. I just couldn't say it at the time.
This
Oh,
is so
okay.
we have this lovely moment where Silent 919 sings of Koseh's sadness. Was that due to God? And that's where we'll fade out tonight. I love it. You all are a dream to tell stories with. Thank you so much. This has been such a wonderful episode for me, and I hope it was for you all as well. And all of you who are here to hang out with us and watch, thank you. We're going to wrap for this evening. Next week, we will not be having a regular session of Into the Motherlands. We're going to have to take the next week off, but don't worry, we will still get our full 10 episodes the week after that and then the following week. Do stay tuned. There's a chance we may have some alternate programming. I'm making no promises, but keep an eye on our Twitter. We'll be sure to give you plenty of notice if we do get something together, but there won't be a regular session of Into the Motherlands next Wednesday. So we will for sure see you all back in 2 weeks. Let's go ahead and go around and let everybody know in those 2 weeks where folks can keep up with you, because we're all going to miss you so very much. You know what? We're just going to go around. Oh no, we'll roll it. All right. Ikemba, will you, DJ, because real names, because we're done. Will you let us know where we can find you between now and our next session?
I'm DJ Knight. I go by DJ Knight. I'm literally right here on the internet. So Twitter, Twitch, Insta, where you like to go to hang out. You'll probably find me there. Mostly because I go to sites that, even though I don't really go to them, I'll get the name just because I don't like the idea of somebody else getting the name and doing silly things. I'm going to be playing a lot of Elite Dangerous, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and apparently Chivalry 2, because I did not know that I was going to enjoy it as much as I do.
Yeah.
And that's also, tomorrow, Black Dice Society.
Yeah.
Yo! Sorry, I thought I was muted.
Appreciate you.
BDS is very good.
It is very good.
Thank you very much. I'm just happy to be a part of it, and many of the amazing people you know from here are there. Me, Cypher, B-Dave. It's just a pleasure to work with people that I respect and appreciate so much. And I'm stealing those words from our castmates because they're awesome people. I'm trying to be awesome too. I'm gonna shut up because I've gone way longer than I needed to.
No
Sorry.
worries. Look, we're all feeling it tonight. All right, next up is number one, which is Christina.
Number one. Oh, no. Hi, I'm Christina Ariel. I play Admiral Sila 919. And this was really it's really emotional, and Abria made me feel my own feelings. That's a lot. It's a very intense thing. Glad you're awake. Ilay, Ikemba did the darn thing. Cool stuff. Yes. So my name is Christina Ariel. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Christina Ariel, KrystinAarielle. I am also the host of Star Wars The High Republic show. So we've got some really cool stuff coming out in the next couple of weeks. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll talk about it on my social medias. So yeah, just follow me and I'll say stuff about things and give you digital high fives and all that junk. But have a great week. Bye.
That's it. Next up is Michael.
Yo, what up? No. Anyway, my name is Michael Sinclair. I go by Michael Crits everywhere. I finished my exams for the quarter, so I can stream more and stream some Magic the Gathering. I'm taking the summer off. There's some exciting things coming down the pipeline. Make sure you keep a track of my Twitter. I've been putting in some work, getting some flights. I'm doing the damn thing. Anyway, so I'm really excited. So yeah, catch me on my Twitch channel at Michael Crits. You're gonna see me playing Magic. Maybe I might download Chivalry so I can play with DJ Knight, so we can, get to slaying some things.
Some things may need to get slayed a little bit, and I do like to sling swords around because Knight. It's just there. It's in the name.
It's in the name.
We got to sling some things, slay some people. Everybody, got to handle that business. And yeah.
I used to swing fake swords in real life and dagger here, sparring stuff. So, fun stuff. I want to do it in game. So anyway, I'm a huge nerd. Obviously, Magic, D&D, the whole thing.
Yes.
Check me out my social media at Michael Crits. And I love you all. And yeah, see you next time.
Yeah. Abria.
Hi, I'm Abria Iyengar. You can follow me on social media. Sorry. Woo!
I feel that.
I got a single glitter in my eye and I felt that.
Oh,
I felt
no.
the hit. I was like, oh, everything's over. Follow me on social media at Quiddy, Quiddie. I stream all over the place. On Fridays, you can catch me over in Pixel Circus's channel at 7 p.m. Pacific, playing Failed Save. We resurrected the character I may have accidentally bumped off. So Fess is back. I'm playing 2 characters. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. On Saturdays, you can catch me on the Gax Pack. Took a little reprieve and now I'm back. And that's at 5 p.m. Pacific over on Gary Con Live's Twitch channel. And big announcements coming soon.
Yeah.
So
That's
stay
all.
tuned.
Just stay tuned.
It's gonna
The
be
NDA
great.
live. I love it. Cool. Anything else? Not that that's not plenty, but you know. Of course, our delightful host and project lead, Tanya, you can follow her all over the internet at Cypher of Tyr. That's C-Y-R. Cypher, I did this earlier. CYPHEROFTYR here on Twitch and on Twitter. She is currently in New York at the Tribeca Film Festival. She's going to be on the first ever games jury for Tribeca and has some other really cool stuff that I'm not clear on what's been announced, and so I'm not going to talk about it. But you should follow her and make sure that you keep up because it's going to be a very cool 10 days while she's at Tribeca. And then of course I am Eugenio. You can follow me on Twitter and here on Twitch at DM Jazzy Hands. I stream on my channel mostly these days, mostly Mass Effect Legendary. It's my first time playing, so we have a lot of fun over there. Tuesday mornings, I play It Takes Two with my partner. You can come hang out for our shenanigans. Where else can you find me? Sundays, Rivals of Waterdeep over on twitch.tv/Rivals of Waterdeep, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. We are marching towards episode 100 with that crew, which is wild. So come hang out there. Monday nights, I'm over on the Kobold Press channel playing some D&D with Little Red Dot. We're doing Courts of the Shadow Fae. So that's been a ton of fun. We finally made it to the Shadow Realm. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And then I'm back here on, well, not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that. Thank you all so much. Once again, a quick thank you to Die Hard Dice and to Twitch and to Blue Microphones and of course to Cortex by Fandom. We've got 10 days left on that Kickstarter. Go check it out. We've broken 250. Let's see how much further we can get. And I think that's all we've got for you. We are going to raid tonight to spread the love. We are raiding Kiwi on the Sticks. So do hang out, give all the love over there when we get there. Thank you all so much. We'll see you in 2 weeks, if not sooner. And in the meantime, please stay safe. Please stay healthy. Please get vaccinated as soon as you possibly can. And happy gaming, y'all. We'll see you soon. Good night.